I know what I am in truth. I know how I serve in truth. I am here, I am here, I am here. I know who you are in truth. I know what you are in truth. I know how you serve in truth. You are here, you are here, you are here. We know who we are in truth. We know what we are in truth. We know how we serve in truth. We are free. We are free. We are free.
I talk about myself a lot because I am really all that I am an authority on. Myself is what I know better than anything. But what I'm finding is that I can associate into, identify with, or as anything in my experience. I tend to identify primarily as this man, and there does seem to be some kind of barrier, whether that's imaginary or otherwise, between this man and other beings. That it feels like I'm not really allowed to associate into them or as them, or at least it's not polite or respectful, maybe, because they're another soul or spirit, pre-soul spirit, a spirit with an incoherent thread of memory hasn't yet learned how to carry memory through death. And so that's how I qualify a soul personally. But in interacting with other people, I feel like it's not polite or respectful for me to associate into them or as them, because this is another being and that's their field, their form, their psyche. And it seems functionally well and good that we would focus primarily on the one organism experientially, uh, identify as and through the one individual organism, uh, for learning and for unique individualized expression in a shared realm. So I tend to identify exclusively as James in my interactions with people. But in my more um solitudinous experiences, I tend to associate more readily into my environment and other phenomena that I witness that I don't identify as James. So in this way, I'm beginning to grok more than just this man as myself. I'm starting to hold myself accountable for the way that my psychic weather, my thoughts and emotions, are informing my environment. But James and all that I have created as and through this man is my bailiwick. I know James better than anybody. He is me, my form in this realm. So I'm going to talk a lot about James, me, much of what I've learned, much of what I've done. And my intention with this is to share my gifts and express my values through my stories, the wisdom that I have become, that I share, and any other means that I may claim in this medium. Because sharing my gifts is quite possibly the most fulfilling thing that I do. Is that it's quite possibly the most fulfilling way to be most of the time. Every time I publish a video, every dish I wash, every hug I give, every moment in which I am a nurturing environment, an environment which is supportive of and conducive to life, supportive and conducive to love, peace, prosperity, health, freedom. Every act of service nourishes me, satiates some deep and fundamental hunger permanently. I have accumulated a lot of this hunger overall in resistance to my quest. And that's like a whole nother podcast in and of itself. But I have a lot of this hunger because my vision is big. But every little step along the way, I can feel the fulfillment because I know what I want. And I sincerely endeavor to design and implement the best strategy that I can for my life, which is an ongoing process of me learning about myself at different levels, about the man, James, his body and psyche, learning about the soul, Bagheera, his mastery, learning about the cosmos. For me, what I call cosmosia, as can be known while embodied as this man. My life strategies continue to evolve as I develop this increasingly coherent relationship between these different aspects of myself. But the point is that by knowing my vision, every little tiny step toward it is permanent fulfillment. And that's essentially my point in saying all of this. Because I know my values, peace, love, prosperity, health, freedom, joy, and so on, making these videos, supporting other people however I can, sharing my gifts in ways that are reasonable, feasible, safe, peaceful, and sustainable. These acts of service are genuinely fulfilling to me in a way that nothing else is. So my holistic life strategy largely involves framing much or all of my daily activity as service, as acts of service. Like me taking a shower is an act of service to me and to everyone I encounter. Me brushing my teeth is the same way. Eating well and enough, making money in the ways that I do, washing dishes, helping people out, keeping a calm and peaceful demeanor most of the time. Good for me and my health, and good for everybody else and their health. Every time I brush my teeth is fulfilling because I know what I want, and brushing my teeth is part of that. I know being of service in the ways I enjoy is part of what I want. So that's why I'm here delivering these rambles. In my rambling, there are valuable gems, concepts, techniques, frameworks that are articulated so as to be shareable. Sharing the words and skills that have been most helpful to me in attaining true fulfillment, this feels like the most valuable service that I have to offer. Someone very close to me recently moved away, and in their absence, I have found increased motivation to create and share these videos. Yes, to support you, but also to sort myself out. While my intuitive faculties are sound, my own intellectual comprehension of the wisdom that I share actually develops through the creation of these videos. What I mean is that I have a strong sense of intuiting what I teach correctly, but in endeavoring to make it shareable, I articulate things that previously didn't have language attached to them for me. It's helpful though, for you and me. It's helpful to use words skillfully to enhance our experience by getting the psyche on board with what we really intend to do. Without words, it can be very challenging to negotiate change with various aspects of the psyche, various parts of the psyche, parts of ourselves. It's not impossible to negotiate our intentions with parts of our psyche without words, but we can really expedite the process by using language skillfully. As I have been sorting myself out over the years, and in and I'm recalling recent occasions of sorting myself out. I in 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 sorting myself out, I have revealed layers of my own patterns that had previously been denied. And this is really useful when this happens. It can be uncomfortable and painful initially, but at the end of the day, we benefit from knowing what we're doing and why we're doing it. It empowers us to change things. And for a lot of people, there are indeed things in their life that they would like to change. However, the first most important step to create change is to take responsibility for the things that one wants to change. That is, you are creating your entire experience. And I'm not saying that you are consciously, intentionally creating every little detail of your experience, but consciously or not, the whole show of your experience, all your thoughts and sensory data, you're doing it. You are causing it. What about other people? You get to decide how you perceive and respond to everything that you encounter. And that includes other people. What they do isn't your responsibility, but how you perceive and respond to them and their behavior is your responsibility. Emotional and intellectual weather, which I mentioned earlier, is relevant here. A lot of victimhood, the narratives of victimhood that people lament about, are based in this denial of accountability. Your thought patterns and emotional patterns are not someone else's fault. Your patterns are born in choice. And yes, some of these choices were made early in your life when you had limited resources, but you made those choices. And when you acknowledge that, you reclaimed your power, which includes the capacity to change the patterns that you use. When you attempt to abdicate responsibility for your psychic weather, your thoughts and emotions, when you attempt to abdicate responsibility for your psychic weather, you create an entity, a thought form, which you are believing is one, other, separate from you, outside of you, and two, has the power and authority to influence or control you. Those are just beliefs. That's just a thought form. You don't need to do that. And it would be beneficial to you to stop doing that if it's something that you have been doing. This can be challenging, but it can also be really simple. There are few things more self oppressive than a victim stance or the blame game. Responsibility and power go together. They cannot exist without each other. This is good news. It helps limit the potential for self-harm. If you are rich in responsibility, you will also claim the power to exercise that responsibility. If you claim your power, you simultaneously claim ultimate accountability. And I find in that regard that direct feedback is a much better indicator of what's really going on, and opportunities for refinement than our ideologies. For example, if you believe that certain foods are bad, that belief will inform your experience. And if you consume those foods, it's much more likely that you will react as you believe someone should react to the foods that you say are bad in the way that you believe that they should. However, in looking to direct feedback instead of the belief that this food is bad, you will be able to receive the feedback from natural consequences more readily, uh, than if you were insisting on an ideology, an assumption. Rather than creating experiences based in your beliefs, looking to direct experiential feedback will provide you with clearer, perhaps more accurate reading of the facts. I discovered this with keto. And I'm not knocking keto. Okay. If you do that and it's working for you, that's great. And I'm happy for you. My position about keto is that it's mostly helpful for people with specific needs, but it is not a holistically sound approach to food for most people. When I started doing keto, I believed that it was good for me, and I created a positive experience with that. However, I was ignoring the direct feedback. At a certain point, I became aware of this ignorance. I released the belief that keto is good for me. I didn't replace it with a different belief. I just released the belief that keto is good for me. And I continued the diet without any beliefs about it. The direct feedback, which had been presenting the whole time but had been denied by me, was very clear. In the absence of a narrative that ignores or denies your direct experience, you're going to have a better time. For clarity, whether it's got a positive twist or a negative twist, I don't believe it's helpful to use beliefs to ignore or deny your direct experience. Your direct experience is an accurate or yeah, I guess accurate reflection of your psyche. All your thoughts and emotions are being reflected as and through your direct experience. So to ignore or deny that is to ignore or deny your own creation. And spoiler alert, that doesn't give very good results. I did that for a long time, and it never gave good results. You don't have to take my word for it. You can go down that road, but I would not recommend it. So to help you with these things, if you are struggling with clarity and responsibility, I want to give you a really simple process that you can use to quickly identify major interference and resolve it. This process starts by asking yourself, do you know what you want? Or what do I want? If the answer is pretty clear, that's great. We'll get to that in a minute. If the answer is no, and you would like some help with this, I've linked a video in the description which can support you in this, that can be helpful. It can be helpful, just to say this very quickly and simply, it can be helpful if you lack clarity about what you want, to examine what you don't want and consider what the opposite of that is. Because it's important to identify what you want as independent from what you don't want. A lot of people get sucked into this pattern of giving attention to what they don't want, but wrapping it up in a way that they believe it's what they actually want. What's the saying? It's freedom to, not freedom from, right? Because as long as you're trying to avoid something, you're giving it your attention. And where attention goes, energy flows. Your true desires are your values, which express as your goals or intentions. And once you've started to give that your attention, once you've started to give your values and goals and intentions your attention every day, you will continuously gain clarity about how you would like to live and specific expressions of that, specific experiences, emotions, and so on. And that's going to aid you in finding ways of navigating your daily experience that are going to be supportive to, conducive to, aligned with what you really want. If you don't have any clarity about what you want, how do you even know how to conduct yourself? Like, how do you even navigate your daily life? Unconsciously. So once you have started to articulate and give attention to what you really want, you have a compass. And if you feel stuck or like there's interference, ask yourself this. Say, I know what I want. How am I interfering with that? Sincerity is required for this. When you ask yourself these kinds of questions, it's necessary to come with an empty bowl. Earnestly receive the answers from yourself. There might be multiple ways that you're interfering with what you really want. And it's helpful to write them down so that you can address them one at a time. For dissolving interference patterns, there's a number of techniques that you can do, but the simplest is just to let them go. You can just let go of the patterns. And if you pick them back up, use that as a reminder to let it go. Keep doing that. And eventually, you're just not going to pick it up again. If there's a lot of resistance to releasing the pattern, I did a video about a more involved process, and I've also linked that in the description. And that's really all there is to it, folks. Get clear about what you want. Give attention to that every single day. And when you notice interference, clear it out. Every bit of your experience is happening for you. Cliche as it may be to say that. If there's things that you don't like or things that you feel are blocking what you want, investigate those feelings. See how you're doing those things with your beliefs and the patterns that are based in those beliefs. And if you want support, I am here for it. You can watch my videos. I've got many. If you would like more direct support, you can book a free introductory coaching call with me. There's a link for that on my link tree. And I have an announcement to make that may also be valuable to you if you would like support. I've spoken recently in videos about a surprise. And the surprise is that I am committing to show up every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to give a presentation on a specific theme for that meeting. And in the meetings, I'll provide a guided technique to support you in your self-realization and the fulfillment of your holistic life intentions. These meetings are going to happen on Zoom because following the presentation, I will offer coaching, individual one-on-one coaching in a group setting for anyone who's present at the meetings who would like to receive support with something in their life that they're dealing with or that they would like to improve. A few disclaimers about that. If circumstances are such that it's not feasible for me to be at these meetings, like technical problems, family issues, power outage, so on, then obviously I won't be there at the meeting and I won't do the meeting. But this is something that I have intended for months. And I now feel ready for and committed to. So that's the plan. If you would like to join these meetings, I welcome you to do so. On my link tree and in the description of this video, there's a link to the Psyche Sorting System on Gumroad. If you click that link and put in your email and follow the instructions on the page, you'll receive either an email with a link to the meetings, or once you get through to the product page on Gumroad, then the link will be there. I don't remember if it's an email or if it's right there on the Gumroad website, but either way, you'll get a link to join the meetings. I'm new to automated emails and newsletters and stuff like that, so no need to be concerned about getting a whole bunch of emails from me. At the time that I'm recording this video, there's a newsletter is low on my priority list, quite low. The main reason that I have put the link there and made it a bit more of a process to join the meetings is to filter out people who are maybe insincere or have unhelpful intentions. So this protocol of having someone provide their email and go through Gumroad is just a way to mitigate the possibility of someone insincere or with unhelpful intentions joining the meetings. And plus, this way, if you want to join the meetings, you also get access to the Psyche Sorting System, which is a very valuable organizational tool that can be very helpful and supportive of you gaining clarity about what you want and developing a holistic life strategy. Lastly, I share all my gifts for free, and if you value my work, you are welcome to do so with monetary gifts. There are several options for doing that on my link tree. If you do send monetary gifts, please write gift in the note or memo section. I hope that the concepts and techniques that we talked about today are helpful to you. Thank you for being. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your witness. Blessings.